What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be putting the new engine into our Mercury Mariner. Let's get to it. So in the last episode, if you did not catch that, it's going to be right up above me. We were able to successfully pick our old engine that had low compression on cylinder 2 from our Mercury Mariner. It was very successful. We were able to pull it out the top. If you did not watch it, make sure to please go check that one out. But in this episode, we're going to be trying to put the new engine back in there. So there's a bunch of parts on this new engine that we technically don't need. They gave us a ton of stuff like an intake and throttle body and wiring harness that we already have on ours, and I'm going to try to keep most of the stuff that came on ours just in case something's different, because the one that we got from the salvage yard was from a Ford Fusion, and it was from a manual as well, so it has a flywheel on it opposed to a flex plate. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to switch over from our old one to the new one, but we're going to want to try to keep like the wiring harness and everything like that off of the Mercury Mariner. But that's going to be like the first thing we're going to be doing is swapping everything over, and then we're going to get the engine hoist out and lift it up, and we're going to try to set it in there. Hopefully it sits in there just fine and everything goes well. But again, first things first, let's go ahead and start swapping everything over. Probably just zoom through it, but I'll give you a once over of what we need to switch over, and let's get started on that. All right, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the engine we got here. As you see, they wrote on the flywheel here, 2010 Ford Fusion. We're not going to need that flywheel, so we're going to go ahead and take that off and put on our flex plate. That's pretty much the only thing on this side that we really need to do. So on ours, we have the hoses that we took out of the Mercury Mariner where they took theirs off, so we might go ahead and take those off too. I just didn't know how they went because I've never done one of these engines, but now that I see it out of the vehicle, we might just go ahead and take it off. But that's pretty much it on this side. On the back side, or the exhaust side, pretty much just an exhaust manifold back here. And we took ours with our exhaust manifold too, so I don't think there's really anything we need to do on the back other than just like a wiring harness here or there be removed. And then we go over to the intake side. This is where the most of it is going to be. So we have the fuel rail that we need to take off, maybe some of the wiring connections, because on the front of ours, we took all that off. The intake, I might try to keep the intake on. That thing was a pain to take off when removing it in the first place. So I might try to keep that on there, see if it fits. That way you guys would at least know when taking yours in and out, whether or not you can actually leave it on or not. The only thing that's going to be annoying then is that we do have to tackle the starter and the air conditioner from the bottom, but we can always do that. That's not a big deal. Done it before. And then going around to the front side of the engine, the only thing that we removed was the harmonic balancer. And I noticed that on ours, we have all 3 studs, where it looks like one of the studs came out with theirs. So we might just go ahead and remove the stud from mine and put it into this block or head, and then remove the harmonic balancer down there. Otherwise than that, that's it. The pulleys are all the same and everything like that. So I think what we're gonna do is just start undressing this and see if we can get this thing all ready to go back into the vehicle. Okay guys, we got everything transferred over. We got the, like I said, we're leaving the intake on. Took the throttle body off, took the fuel rail off, took the wiring harness off. That's all looking really good. Got the heater hose lines on, got the flex plate on, torqued down with the red Loctite. And then on the back side, didn't really have to do much. And then harmonic balancer is off in the front. So this is looking really good. I think we can go ahead and try to set this back down in there. Like I said, the intake is the only thing in question. I hope that I can put it down in there with the intake on, but if I can't, I guess it will just come off, not a big deal. But let's go ahead and get this thing on the engine hoist. One other thing I'm gonna do while it's up on the engine hoist, I'm gonna change this oil filter real quick. Might as well, nice and easy while it's up and out of the way. And I already got the new oil filter, so I'll just go ahead and change that real quick too. But we'll go ahead and get this up on the engine hoist and see if we can set it down in the engine bay. Alrighty guys, well she is sat back in there. We got the motor mount tightened up. We have two bell housing bolts in, one down here and one on the back side over here. Those are looking very nice. I did go underneath and I don't know how, but I got that torque converter lined up perfectly with that flex plate, and I hate those torque converter studs. But I got lucky today. Everything lined up very well. I did get the mount on the back side over here started. So that's going to be hooked up to the carrier bearing and the exhaust manifold and to the exhaust pipe. So that's all looking really good. But this is a huge accomplishment, setting this thing back in there with the intake on. So you can do it either way. Leave the intake, don't leave the intake. One thing that's going to be kind of annoying is torque converter. We got to attach that with those nuts. So we got to go from underneath now, but it is what it is. Not a huge deal. But it would be a lot easier now that we don't have to put that intake on and squeeze that back in there. So we're going to go ahead and pause for now, and we'll pick this back up a little bit later tonight. I got a few things I got to do. All right, well, it is later tonight, and picking this back up. And the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is the torque converter nuts. So let's go underneath and put those in. Won't be able to film too much on it, but hopefully I can get those in pretty easily, and we'll move on to that bracket back in the back side of the engine. So let's get there. Well, I was putting in the harmonic balancer bolts, and me not knowing these Ford engines, I came across an issue. You can see that the valve covers are off, or the valve cover is off, and I did not know that the timing was having to deal with the harmonic balancer. So I had the harmonic balancer off, trying to spin over the flex plate, and while the flex plate was spinning, since one of the cylinders or valves were down, you can see right there, when I was spinning that over, it wouldn't let the piston travel all the way up because the valve was down. Makes sense. So I went and did a little more research, and okay, I have to do timing on this before I can spin this over and complete the rest of the torque converter bolts. So I'll have to do the timing on it. There are videos out there for timing. I might just skim over it, but if you guys want to check that out, maybe I'll do a timing video on that one in the future. But for now, you guys can probably just hit up the timing videos. I'll try to leave one down in the description below of somebody reputable that will teach you guys how to do the timing on these. But we're just gonna go ahead and keep moving along, just putting probably bell housing bolts in tonight. I have to get the tool to actually do the timing because I don't own it. So we're gonna just do bell housing bolts and a few other odds and ends around this engine that we can do tonight, and then complete the timing tomorrow and keep moving on. So I did a few boring things off camera. I hooked up the heater hoses, this heater hose down here as well, also the upper heater hose. I also fully connected the back plate back here, the one that holds the carrier bearing, and also connected the carrier bearing to it. The only other thing else I did is line up the camshafts correctly, made sure that the tool could fit into there. I just used a piece of aluminum stock, flat aluminum stock, but I'll use the real tool tomorrow when I get in the mail. So that's tomorrow. We're gonna go ahead and call this a night for tonight, and we'll pick this up tomorrow night again. So catch you then. All right, well, we are back at this again. Got my tool. So this is the OEM brand Ford camshaft alignment kit. I'll have this link down in the description below. But yeah, this kit comes with the aluminum piece that goes in between here, and also comes with the stopper for the crankshaft too. So we got the two pieces here. I'm gonna go ahead and line up the line up the harmonic balancer and the camshaft so that way timing is in sync, and we'll go ahead and get this thing going. All right, guys, timing is done. You can see here that the 9th mark, or the 9th tooth, is located by this white mark. It's right in the center of the crankshaft position sensor. This is the original bolt that came off of the engine. You can see that they had the paint mark. It's torqued all the way to specification because it's right in line there. So that's all set. You can see our plug is still in the back of the block there. That's how we know that it is hitting the crankshaft and it's all the way at the correct point. And I've already turned this over a couple times, and I put that all back in just to verify. And verifying right now, we have the camshaft plate on the right side of the engine. So I am comfortable saying that timing is done on this. Everything's buttoned back up, just got to throw the valve cover on and throw that plug back in where we had that crankshaft tool. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and then we'll move on to the next part. Now, keep in mind, like I said, I did a lot of this off camera as far as the timing. So if you want to check out the video that I watched, I'll try to leave the link down in the description below. Otherwise than that, I might make a timing video for that engine over there. Even though it doesn't need it, I would probably just like to show people how it works. So not too bad, but it is a little complicating. But we'll go ahead and, like I said, button this up and move on to the next step. All right, so we did a few more things off camera that are really hard to get to. That was one, put the two bolts in the exhaust manifold to downpipe. And then the other one was the torque converter bolt. So we got those cinched all the way up now that we have the timing all set. So the next thing that we'll have to do, and I'm probably gonna do it later tonight, is the air conditioner, starter. If we do both of those, we can put the serpentine belt on. Also have to do the alternator before we do the serpentine belt. So those will be the next few things that we're gonna be doing. So starter, air conditioner, alternator. Hopefully I can show you a little bit more on that stuff. It's not as difficult to get to for videoing, but that's where we're at. I'll probably work on it a little bit more tonight. All right, well, it is nighttime now, and I'm finding a little bit more time to work on this. So first thing we're gonna do is install that starter down there. So we're gonna go ahead and get the starter, get the two bolts, and hook that thing up. Also, we'll put the air conditioner on while we're down there. So let's go ahead and get to do that.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
All right, so we went underneath here and we put the starter in. It's up here, just past the fuel or the oil pump, or sorry, the oil filter. And then we got the air conditioner put in. That's right there-ish. Got the hoses. A little bit harder to see from there, but it's right down here. And then as you can see here that we have the serpentine belt in. Also the alternator got installed and everything like that. So the next thing we're gonna do is probably button up down here and put that wheel back on so that we don't have to keep on standing on that tire to get into the engine bay because it's so tall. So we're gonna probably button that up down there and then we'll come back up on top and finish up. So everything is now put together. All the wiring harnesses are clipped in. Everything looks great. Only thing left to do is some 5W20 in there and prime the engine. I might just pull all the fuel injectors, the plugs, prime the engine, let it spin over a few times, and then let's see if she starts. So let's go and put some oil in there. All right, so I got oil in it. I took the fuel injector harnesses off, so we won't squirt any fuel in there, so it won't start. We're gonna go hop in there, and we're gonna turn it over for probably about 30 seconds, and then we'll plug those back in and see if she'll start. All right, so we now should have oil pressure everywhere. We're just gonna plug these all back in. I heard compression, which is good because we did the timing in it. And we'll just go ahead and see if she'll start then. Hopefully no issues. All right, here we go. Ooh, that is nice. That is nice and smooth. Check that out. It's like not even moving. Let it run for just a minute or so. We don't want it to get warm or anything like that because we still need to put coolant and everything like that. And it's really late at night too. I don't want to run too late with the closed door, carbon monoxide, stuff like that. So we'll just let it run, and we'll go and turn it off, and then tomorrow morning, we'll go and pull it out. But for as much as you guys know, this is pretty much a wrap. We'll go ahead and close out the video now. There we go, guys. Engine started, engine complete. This was not too bad, honestly. As far as like the one question I had at the beginning, whether leaving the intake on was beneficial or not, honestly, if I would do it again, I'd probably take the intake off, because it seemed a lot easier being able to get to all that front accessories, the starters, torque convertible, stuff like that, because I don't have a lift. If I had a lift, maybe it'd be a little bit easier to just go ahead and leave the intake on. But if you're going to take the engine out the top, you can do it either way, but I think if I did it again, it would be without the intake. But honestly, the engine runs great. Everything's looking really good. Tomorrow I'll go for a test drive in it, but as far as this video goes, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we're good. Got the task done that we wanted to with pulling and putting this engine back in. So if you guys like this video, please make sure to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also check out my other videos. I got a bunch out there, and I'll have a few more videos out here on this Mercury Mariner. Again, same thing as a Ford Escape, and sometimes engine-wise, Ford Fusion. But otherwise than that, thanks for watching.